This is the YouTube edition of my book, A Course in Miracles Workbook Nuggets, which is a study aid for the course's workbook for students. I'll begin by reading my book's commentary on today's lesson over a visual of the book's text. I'll then return with some further thoughts on the lesson, which are only included in this YouTube edition of my book. Today's lesson is part of a 10-lesson group that runs from lesson 261 through 270, each of which relates to the body as it is understood in the course. I'll be repeating this same introduction for each of lessons 261 through 270, so you can skip past this introduction in the future if you like. Timestamps taking you directly to today's Workbook Nuggets commentary and my further comments are provided in the description below. In the section entitled, What is the Body?, which precedes these 10 lessons, we are told that, quote, the body is a fence the Son of God imagines he has built to separate parts of his self from other parts. It is within this fence he thinks he lives, to die as it decays and crumbles, end quote. But we are also told that the body can be repurposed to be, quote, the means by which God's Son returns to sanity, end quote. So the Course is teaching us what our bodies are in reality and how we may use them as vehicles or learning tools of escape. Today's lesson from my book and my further thoughts, which are only included in this YouTube edition of the book, follow. A link to the book on Amazon.com is provided below. Lesson number 266, September 23rd. My holy self abides in you, God's Son. Every difficult person or situation in your life is a flashing neon sign marking the way home. If you realize that they can be seen as such, you have taken the first step. You may find it impossible to see God in a difficult person, and you would be right. God is not the flesh or personality which you perceive. He is the eternal reality hidden and obscured by that illusion. See the light within others, and you see God. And when you do, you will see the light within yourself as well. Who among us expresses the one perfectly? Undoubtedly, some express them far less perfectly than others, but the light is always there, and it is your ticket home. The title of today's lesson is My Holy Self Abides in You, God's Son. Let's rephrase that to clarify its central points. The title may be rephrased as My real self abides or exists as part of the one self we all share, something which the Course calls, quotes, God's Son. So what the title is saying is that my holy self, my real self, is part of the one self we all share, what the Course refers to as God's only Son. Despite all appearances to the contrary, that is the real you. You are not a separate body with a small will. That is the ego. The ego is you in the illusion. Another clarification that may help with this lesson relates to the references to the name of God. The name of God is not a specific word or name. The name of something is its essence or true being. Therefore, the name of God is a reference to God's essence, which is his oneness, which can be understood as love, pure love and nothing else. So when the lesson talks about the name of God, it is referring to this oneness that we, as his child, share and seek to remember. I'd like to make one final point on this lesson, which, like all lessons in part 2 of the workbook, is quite short but densely packed with valuable insights. And that point deals with the references to people who God has put into your life. The lesson includes the phrases, quote, "Father, you gave me all your sons to be my saviors and my counselors in sight," end quote. And also, quote, "In them does Christ look back upon me from myself," end quote. The point here is that if you see past the surface differences and their apparent separation from you, these so-called separate people are just the one self guiding you home. That is, see the people as your brothers and sisters guiding you home, not as barriers and blocks to be defeated or overcome. Practice this corrected seeing as often as you remember. It is how you wake.